Finally, after 3 seasons and 19 playoff games against Chicago, it's a wonderful day for an exorcism. Now, today, we're going to be talking about some Vancouver Canucks-related things. I wanted to dive into this man right here, and also talk about this man, because we have an interview with one and an interesting Canucks-related idea with the other that I think deserves our attention. So I wanted to give a big shout-out over to Elliotte Friedman on 32 Thoughts last week, who went out there and had a full freaking interview with Vancouver Canucks co-president of hockey operations, Henrik Sedin. And of course, big shout out over to Canucks News Summaries, who is summarizing all of this material as well. I swear to goodness gracious, man, Canucks News Summaries has been the best person to come out of the Vancouver-related Twitter bubble over the past few years. They went out there and summarized Elliotte Friedman's Henrik Sedin interview. And I also wanted to use this video as an opportunity to talk about Alexander Burrows and an idea that potentially describes Burrows as an option for Vancouver. Who really knows? But first, let's get into the Henrik Sedin interview and go over some of the elements that Hank shared with Friedman on 32 Thoughts, the podcast. There is a discussion on what's going to happen now. Daniel Sedin has gone over to Switzerland to observe the World Championships. Meanwhile, Henrik and Canucks GM Ryan Johnson have been talking almost every hour, going over things they have to do. The question is then proposed, why take this job now? Henrik and his brother stepped away from hockey for almost 3 years and got back into it slowly. They wanted to be the bridge between Abbotsford and Vancouver. They watched every Abbotsford game, and they wanted a strong understanding of the players. Ownership came to them with the vision of their plan and felt strongly about taking on this role. They would not support this if ownership came to them with a plan to do it quickly. The Sedins have always wanted to do a lot of different things, and they have touched different parts of the organization. So, I love this little clarification on the fourth point, that Henrik and Daniel Sedin would not have taken this role if ownership came to them with a quick fixer-upper, band-aid solution type of plan. Great planning there, Hank. What happened to put the organization in this position? Henrik says it's very hard to be successful every season as a team. You need good leadership, the best players have to lead every night, and a desire to constantly win. You need to want to lead. And I think that's a great way to put it, because I don't think a lot of the leaders in Vancouver over the past few years have wanted to lead. Look at Quinn Hughes for all I care. The guy goes out there and, okay, we don't need to do the entire song and dance again. Y'all probably know my opinions on Quinn at this point. The Canucks then had a perfect storm with Tocchet, Alvin, and Rutherford leading, and they had a good team on paper. There is pride of being a Canuck. Henrik wants people to be proud to be Canucks fans, and during the last 20 to 25 games when the team was playing better, they earned the support of the fans. That indicates to the Sedins that, hey, that support is still possible. It's still there. In order to have a successful organization, you need to have alignment from the top to the bottom, talk a lot about being connected. You also need to get back to playing a big part in this community. A big part of being a professional athlete, of course, but it's even bigger for the Vancouver Canucks. Henrik then talks about the leaks. He was really surprised about some of the things that were getting out and where the rumors were coming from. He thinks a lot of the time the media is trying to come up with stories, though, that aren't true. Disagreeing. Oh, right, this is going to be a really fun topic here. Let's talk about decision-making. Henrik and Daniel disagree on a lot of things on a daily basis. They have learned how to talk through things before, and they have a good understanding of how to see things through. Then there's a conversation on Adam Foote, Manny Malhotra, and Ryan Johnson. The Canucks are discussing Foote's future right now, going through a lot of different parts of the organization. And as for when the Canucks can potentially announce a decision, that might happen sometime this week. The podcast was from last week, which is why it says next week on the text here. Manny Malhotra, the Canucks, they know his character and they got closer with him over their time in Abbotsford. Henrik understands if there is interest in Malhotra around the league. If a team reaches out to talk to him, he will discuss that with Ryan Johnson. And in regards to RJ, the guy is a big believer in the right environment. He gets people to work extremely hard for him, and the Canucks need that back in their franchise. Now, there is a conversation on the rebuild, which I think is also great to acknowledge here. There will be times where it feels like they're taking 2 steps forward and times where it feels like they're going the wrong way, but you have to stick to the plan. The only way to win is to get 22 players feeling a big part of your success. Different players playing different roles. You can't have a few guys doing everything. Cough, cough. Quinn Hughes. The best players need to sacrifice their own success to make the guys around them better. That's part of being a leader. Cough, cough, Quinn Hughes. It's impossible to win by yourself. Cough, cough, Quinn Hughes. Henrik then says it's tough for young players to learn these things. He wasn't named captain until his late 20s, and he wasn't ready before that. Henrik Sedin also had a really good leadership core in front of him to build off of and to learn from. Marcus Naslund learning from some of the best, and Trevor Linden was in there as well. So many positive elements to the Canucks leadership core over the years with the Sedins in the mix. And you wonder why things started to fall apart when Hank and Dank left. There's a conversation on the Grouse Grind. When asked if they would refuse to draft any player that couldn't beat them in the Grouse Grind, Henrik responds, then we couldn't draft anyone. It's impossible. Ah, we love that Swedish sense of humor, don't we? There's a conversation on Elias Pettersson. There will be a lot of talk of your best players in the Canadian markets. And the Sedins will be there to support Petey. He needs to decide what player he wants to be. And the Canucks can't push him. When he enters the season prepared, he will surprise a lot of people. Ryan Johnson has some standards that he will hold guys to, and the player's salary does not matter. Why accept the task of being co-president of Hockey Ops? Because we care. We care about this organization. We have stayed in the city. We live in this market. We know this market. We understand the pressure. We are not scared to take criticism. It's just a different role now. And we are excited about the group of players that are coming. Now, with that said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the AHL coaching situation because Manny Malhotra is not guaranteed to being in Vancouver or in Abbotsford this upcoming season, or at least at the time of me speaking into this microphone, it's not confirmed one way or the other. With that said, I wanted to refer to this idea posted by Taj on Twitter. If Manny Malhotra gets poached, he goes to Toronto or whatever. If Adam Foote stays in Vancouver and the Canucks need a new AHL coach, do they look at Alex Burrows? This is a really fun idea. Burrows, of course, one of the legendary Canucks of the 2010s, and a guy who was a clutch goal scorer, a 17-point in 25-game playoff guy who meshed so well with Hank and Dank on the top line. He's 45 years old, and if you take a look at what Burrows has been up to developmentally, he was the assistant coach for the Montreal Canadiens for a few years, after being an assistant coach for the Laval Rocket for a few years. Nowadays, he is a developmental coach in the Montreal Canadiens organization. But if this guy wants to be an AHL head coach, follow in the footsteps of a Manny Malhotra, is there an opportunity for him to come over to Abbotsford and start coaching the guys down there? Some point, you could have Burrows as the main NHL coach, and then you'd have Sedin, Ryan Johnson, maybe you bring on Kevin Bieksa as an analyst or whatever have you, and Roberto Luongo as a goaltending guy. 604 Adam says, so we've gone from poaching all Penguins players to recreating 2011. And yeah, that's not a terrible idea, honestly. Like, the thing is, a lot of people would be interested in that. Adding Burrows would be recreating 2011? Yeah, but nobody's got a problem with it. I'll say this right here. If I had the choice to build my hockey team using people from the Pittsburgh Penguins of yesteryear, like Rutherford and Alvin had been doing, or rebuilding my hockey team with executive-level people that all used to be 2011 Canucks, I know which option I'm taking 100% of the time. And with that said, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Henrik Sedin's interview on Elliotte Friedman'S 32 Thoughts podcast? And what are your thoughts on Alex Burrows potentially being a Canucks AHL head coaching hire if an AHL Abbotsford head coaching opportunity opens up. Is Burrows the right guy to ask? Are there other names you'd rather see in the mix instead? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Astral 9, and bye.